Hey guys, my name is Lisa, and my husband Peter and I have been foster parents to a sibling group of 3 for over 2 years, and I make weekly videos about foster care, so make sure to subscribe if you are not already. Today, I am super excited to talk to you about the field retreat that I went to at this point a month ago, and I meant to, make a video about it like the week after, and then life got crazy. So 2 days prior to the beginning of this retreat is when we found out that the placement that we've had for 2 years is going back to their parents soon for reunification, which is super awesome, but it also was just a lot of emotions at once, and I was like, oh my goodness. And the very next day actually flew out after that, after telling the kids, and the oldest was like, you have to leave now. I was like, I didn't plan when this retreat is going to be, yes. And I said, I love you. And the retreat was actually in Pennsylvania, and that's where I grew up. And so when I told my mom that, she suggested that she come with me to the retreat, which was super awesome to have. So the field retreat is by Foster to the Family, and there are many different support groups all over the country. I had never been before to a Foster to the Family retreat, but I had read the Foster to the Family book by Jamie Finn. Highly recommend that book. And when we had went to the Replanted conference in October is when I had found out about this retreat in February. And I was like, wow, I had such an amazing time at the Replanted, and you can definitely go check out this video and all the tidbits that we learned from that retreat. And this retreat, I want to say like I learned a lot, and I did, but my headspace was really all over the place that weekend because of the information we had just got at court 2 days prior. I will say the timing of it was amazing. God knew that I needed some time to get away. I slept in way more than I ever have. The first day I actually slept in until like 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. That was when I was with my parents. The retreat, their stuff like started around like 8:30 or 9. It was kind of a go at your own pace kind of retreat. So if you just needed sleep, they were totally fine with that. It's not like you had to be at a certain place at a certain time. But at the same time, I love going, and I love hearing from different people, different perspectives, to be able to just apply that to my life as a foster mom, to be able to best serve the kids in our care. So I was super excited that my mom decided to come with me so she could get some trauma-informed training herself and just be around other people who have similar stories to ours, so that whenever I'm like talking to her about certain things, she can kind of just get it, a little more. So that was super awesome. And I will say that the whole weekend, I just felt very loved and supported and seen, and that was the whole theme of this retreat. The day before the retreat started, my sister, actually, who lives 2.5 hours from my parents, when I had told her everything that was going on with the kids, she's like, I want to come and give you a hug. And so she drove round trip almost 5 hours to have lunch with me and dinner with me and give me a hug, which was so meaningful. And then after the retreat, I got to see my brother and his wife, and that was awesome to be able to have some time with them as well. So in the short, couple days I was out there, it was wonderful. And because it was so close to where I grew up, a couple of people were at that retreat that I had grown up with in our church. And when I first saw them, I started crying. I told them that I probably would cry when I see them. So, they gave me a big hug, and it was just a lot of emotions that I was feeling at that time. And so to be around other people who get it, and I was really trying to seek out people who had gone through reunification and how they processed it, how they handled it. And there were several main sessions which were incredible. I got something from each one that was really good. And then on Saturday, there was some breakout sessions. And the 3 that I did, one was hearing from a caseworker. And kind of the flip side of foster care, like how do the caseworkers, what is their job like, and hearing from them. And this caseworker was also a foster mom. And so it was good to hear from her perspective. Actually, she is a foster mom. She is a caseworker and is a foster mom currently. So it was super good to hear from her. And I don't know, it just really gave me a lot more empathy for the caseworkers. I think it's easy to get frustrated at caseworkers. We're not getting back to you and all of that. But just hearing like their everyday life and all the secondhand trauma that they're experiencing gives you a lot of compassion for your caseworkers. And then the second breakout that I chose to go to, there were so many choices, and my mom actually went to some other ones that I was interested in, but couldn't be in 2 places at once. And she filmed those for me. Actually, she voice recorded those for me. I've not yet listened to them. Maybe I will sometime soon, or maybe it will be in April when maybe life will calm down a little bit. The second one I did was a foster mom Q&A session. And it was really good. There were 3 people there that have various experience with foster care, and it was just a time to open up and just ask any questions. And it was super, super helpful. And one of the people had asked, they were not yet licensed, and they said, as a newly, almost licensed foster parent, what's the best piece of advice that you could give? And one of the people said that the advice that she would give is to stay in your lane as a foster parent and to not get on the emotional roller coaster. And I remember thinking, I didn't ask this, but I wish I did. How do you not get on the emotional roller coaster? Or if you're on the emotional roller coaster already, how do you get off? And I didn't ask those questions, but I just, learning that I don't have to get on the emotional roller coaster, that was super eye-opening for me to realize that, I don't have to get on it. And so that was just newfound perspective for me, and I was so thankful for that. And then the third one I did was a grief class. They had us write a letter. So for me, it'd be Dear Lisa. So it's actually a letter to yourself, and it's a letter from one of the kids that has been in your care. And the prompt was, what do you think they would want to say to you? There wasn't a dry eye in the room as people are writing their letters. And I didn't take time to do it for all 3 of the kids. I did it from the oldest. It was super great to be able to just kind of process through those emotions. And, those kids are still in our care right now, but so this was also thinking about kids that maybe have left your care. And so maybe do that if you have been going through a grieving time. Get out a piece of paper and say, Dear, myself, and then sign sincerely, a child that's, left your home, but not left your heart. And you can just kind of write a letter of what you want to say to you. It was really powerful. And then they talked over this ball of grief, which I think I mentioned in another one of my videos. But yeah, I have felt every single one of these emotions. I think right now, if I had to pick one, I wasn't going to do this, but if I had to pick one right now, oh my goodness. I'm going through this list. I'm I kind of felt that way. I don't know. Right now, I might be in the middle. the denial. I'm planning for everything to happen, but I think I'm in denial and okay, there's a plan. I'm happy. It's good. It's all good. So I think right now that's where I'm at. But that's not where I was for the retreat. So I'm trying to get back in the mind frame that I was at this retreat. But super great. If you have the opportunity to go to any foster care group or retreat, definitely take the chance to go. Look up if there's local foster the family support group near you. Now this one is just for foster moms. And the reason I think I like Replanted, and there's differences for each one, but Replanted was nice to be able to go with my husband. Now, at that retreat too, there were people that had spouses, but they only came by themselves, or there were single families, or single parents, all of that. But I don't know, I liked having my husband there with me for that one. But then this is also super nice just to be with other women and just talking to each other. And I loved how they did their meal times. I will say their meals were so delicious. So everything for this one was included. It was a little bit more than the Replanted conference was, but it was also all included. So I didn't really, if you did the price difference, it's probably pretty similar. This was definitely more like a retreat style, kind of pamper yourself a little bit. And they had craft time, they had food. I had a Starbucks Frappuccino in those glass jars every single day. They had a lot of great drink options there. And for the meals though, they had it where every day or every meal, there was a different place that you could sit based on your circumstance. So you could find your people. So then one time it was are you a foster mom, adoptive mom, foster adoptive mom, safe families home, find, or are you a caseworker? Another time it was sitting by your state, so you could find people that were close to you. So if you came by yourself, you definitely were not going to feel alone for very long. Now, this retreat apparently started 5 years ago, and there were 80 women at that first retreat, and then it kind of kept doubling, and this year there were actually 800 women. So to be in a place with 800 other women who in some way could relate to your story, it was very, very encouraging. Highly recommend if you have the chance to go to the field retreat. I don't know if we'll be at the Marriott next year, if they'll be able to hold us all. Maybe they'll start doing kind of simulcast locations like the Replanted conference up in Chicago, they do. And each day they had a very handy dandy schedule that kind of listed out, everything that's going to happen. And then after every main breakout session, they had a time for you to just reflect on what you, took away. And so that way you could remember it, which I'm really thankful for, because I already forget, it's just so easy to forget. So having this look back and be oh yeah, that was the one key takeaway. I thought I would just go through real fast and kind of tell you one thing from my reflections that I kind of took away. So the first night was talking about Hagar and how God saw her when she felt completely unseen. And that was kind of the theme for the weekend, because as foster moms, you can do a lot of work and you feel unseen. No one's seeing you when you are remaining so calm in the midst of behaviors, or when they're seeing you change that 5th diaper when it's a child that maybe you should already be potty trained, or no one's seeing you when you're doing dishes when really all you want to do is take a nap. And so God is a God who sees you, and he sees all the work that you're doing to take care of the children in your home. And so that was just really encouraging. Devotionals. So the devotional for Saturday and even Sunday morning then was actually talking about the bleeding woman, and how she saw Jesus and touched him, and Jesus gave her attention and restored her after she was probably, cast off from that community, and he restored her dignity. And then Saturday's schedule was here. So each meal time, they had an hour and a half. You could come the whole time, or just, pop in for the last 10 minutes. I always stayed the whole time and found amazing people to talk with, which was definitely one of my favorite times. I always had a main session. That Saturday morning session was really good. She's actually a birth mom, and so I had seen her at the Replanted conference. It was great to hear from her again. And then this was from, main chunk of the day was build your own space. You could do the breakouts or you could go free time crafts. I didn't choose to do the crafts, but some of them looked super cute. I saw some other ladies' crafts. And then Saturday evening after dinner and the main session, there was a girls just want to have fun party. And I will tell you what, I honestly didn't really want to go to that party because, like I said, I was still processing what this, meant with this reunification date. I had just taken a grief workshop. I was pretty just like, I wanted to be done for the day, but I went, and I am so glad that I did. It was actually there that I had two different people come up to me and say, hey, I've actually seen you on YouTube. And so it was super funny because I haven't really had that too much people come up to me, but here I am. My videos are about foster care, and I'm at a foster care conference, so I thought there might be some people there that have watched my video. And so Janelle had come up to me, and then later Adriana, and I got to connect with Adriana a little bit more even on Sunday, and that was super fun. But it totally caught me off guard, so sorry if I was just like, oh, what, hi, and like I said, I just was in a crazy space. But I was just so thankful to connect with people that way. So that was super fun. I also loved, like, they had like all these like 80s like candy, and I picked one out for each of the kids to bring home. Probably was supposed to be for the ladies there, but I was like, okay, everyone can. I didn't eat much of the candy myself, but I took 3 pieces of candy. I took for the girls the candy lipstick, and then for Bubby, got him a lollipop whistle. I thought like everyone knew those whistle things, but Peter had never seen one. Do you know what I'm talking about? Bubby thought it was super cute. It was a super fun party, and so I hung out with someone that I had grown up with, so that was super cool. So this is my they had like a photo booth time. This was one of them. This was my friend Emily growing up, and my mom, and we just had a fun time with the photo booth there. So that was super cool. And then my mom and I had also done one. Oh, okay, focus here. So super fun theme. They had a lot of fun music. We did the cha-cha. I am glad that I forced myself to go. Like normally I'm all about like the fun, the parties, yeah, let's do it. But I wasn't quite feeling it, but I'm glad that I went to that. That was definitely some of the best memories from that weekend. It was super fun. There seemed like a fun video that we did, which was super cool too. So yeah, that was really awesome. Glad I got out of my box and did that. And then on Saturday, my morning reflection, kind of one thing that God taught me and took away was that people will forget what you said and what you did, but they will remember how you make them feel. So I'm trying to focus on that in these last couple of weeks with the kids. That at this point, we have said what we want to say to them and training them in, showing them right from wrong and all of that. But at the same time, what I want them to take away is love and security. And how can I do that? So remembering how they make you feel is the most important as you're, talking with people. And then Saturday evening, that message was really helpful. That one was after all the breakouts that day, and it was a heavy day of breakouts. And Jamie Ivy, who she has a podcast, and I definitely want to go and listen to her podcast. She was really great to listen to. She went through Psalm 23. And the beginning of Psalm 23, it's a very familiar psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. All those beginning verses are talking about rest. And she said, a sheep is not going to rest if it feels frightened or if it feels hungry. But the shepherd takes care of them, and so they can rest. And she talked about, the sovereignty of God and how we can rest in the midst of hard. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. And just rejoicing in God, in the hard. And one thing that she said that I took away from this, and has really helped me through these last couple of weeks, because, you know, I've shared before that in my life, I want God to get the glory. There's a new song out called I hope you get the glory from this, or please get the glory from this. I'll link it below. But Jamie Ivey, what she had said is how God can get the glory, all the glory in our trials, is when we rest in Him. And so it's a work that I'm trying to work on, is resting. And I will say that since the retreat, I've been doing a lot better. Obviously, I only had like 1 day of knowledge of this is happening before I went on the retreat. So again, God knew the timing of this retreat, and I got out a lot of emotions then. I was able to come back exhausted, but also refreshed. And, you know, sometimes when you work through emotions, it actually makes you, you know, more tired, but it was good. And then the last thing I'll share was on Sunday, for the takeaways anyways, was Amanda Carpenter. She shared from Ecclesiastes 7 verses 13 and 14. It talks about how God is there in the good and the bad. And we don't know what's ahead, but God does, and He is sovereign. And we can rest in that. So going back to what Jamie Ivey had been talking about. So that was super, super encouraging. And some of the most powerful moments was 2 different times. Saturday evening, everyone was given a candle. And it was, if you are, you know, a foster mom, you know, you can raise your candle. If you're an adoptive mom, if you had to bring your child home on an airplane, raise your candle. If you are a grandparent, raise your candle. And so kind of just like life stages. But then there was one moment when she said, if you have ever felt like giving up. And I think almost every candle went up, because this is tough. You know, foster parenting, it is tough. So that was just super encouraging. Lights were all dim, and everyone, you know, can see around the room their candle being raised. So that was really a powerful moment. And then the last session, everybody got glow sticks, and we had glow sticks up in the air for how many children we have cared for in our life. And so some people just had 1, some had 20 more, whatever. Lots of glow sticks, and you know, we just held them up and we prayed for the lives that those glow sticks represented. So it was definitely an encouraging weekend. Hey Google, stop timer. That is my alarm to actually go and pick up the kids from visit. So now that it's unsupervised visits, we get to do the pick up and drop off. So I do have to get going, but thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you are not already, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.